Hello, this week's topic is rock bottom rocks. Now, I know what many people are thinking. It sucks to be at the rock bottom of life. Everything feels unpleasant. It feels like we're stuck. We feel like we just can't move forward. There's so much stress and so much pain. But I have good news for you. The rock bottom of our life does rock because it's not permanent. Brene Brown said in one of her books that we have to experience a breakdown before we experience a breakthrough. And I do believe it. When we're in the rock bottom of our lives, many times that's where we have breakthroughs because we have no choice. We can't go any lower. The only way is up. So eventually we have to figure out a solution. One of the important factors when we hit rock bottom is to be very honest with ourselves. It can't get much worse. And the best thing we can do is find a way forward, find a way to get out, find a way to lift ourselves up again. This is not the time to stay in denial because denial just keeps us there. Honesty is of the utmost importance at this level. When we're at the rock bottom, we do have choices. One choice that we have is our mindset. We either are going to have a mindset of growth or a mindset of stagnation. But still, the choice is ours. I really appreciate a book called A Course in Miracles. And in this book, they define a miracle as a change in perception. So when we're at the rock bottom, and we change our mind from a victim mindset to a mindset of potential growth, that itself is a miracle. We have another choice when we hit rock bottom, and that is the vision that we have for our life. We have a choice to use our creative imagination to come up with a new vision of how we would like our life to move forward. The other choice is just to visualize that we stay stuck there indefinitely and that we have no choices. That's a possibility. But obviously, we still have a choice in what kind of vision we would like for our lives. Nobody is in control of that except ourselves. And this is very empowering. I hit my rock bottom when I was 23 years old. I was in a very awful marriage. I was very unhappy at that time. And I was very disappointed that I was 23 and I had not finished my degree yet. Most people finish college around 22, 23 years old, and I wasn't even halfway done. And then I had all these big dreams, like I really wanted to go to Europe and travel to many different countries. So as I found myself at that rock bottom, the only thing I could do is find a way out because I felt at that time as if life could just not get any worse. And so I started to envision what my life would be like. And I pictured myself finishing university, traveling the world. Specifically, I wanted to have a job that would allow me the opportunity to travel abroad. And I had other goals and dreams. That was one of my main goals. And the thought of this type of life really made me happy. I thought about all those possibilities, what else I could do with my life. And so after a few months, I decided finally to go through the divorce process and just continue my studies and continue on with my goals. Now, I'm not saying that this was easy. This was very difficult. I thought about things such as how disappointed will my parents be if I get a divorce, or my family in general? What will people say about me? What other consequences could there be from getting this divorce? I had so many of those doubts run through my mind. And that's why it took me a few months to finally make the decision. But once I made the decision and I went through all the steps, I knew that my life would gradually get better. And here I am, almost 30 years later, and I'm thriving and I'm doing very well. And I look back with no regrets at that moment of rock bottom in my life. So I want to encourage you to think through this rock bottom. How could your life be better if you make certain changes, what else could happen? You don't have to stay stuck there. It may take you some time when you're in the rock bottom, but you can figure out the next steps for your life. And that's one of the reasons that I think the rock bottom rocks. When we're at rock bottom, we also have a choice in terms of how long we take from the moment we experience our breakdown until we have the breakthrough. And I'm specifically talking about avoidance here. A lot of times when people hit the rock bottom, it's very tempting to stay there and to get stuck, to not face it, to stay in denial. But denial is still a choice. And each individual has a choice in how long they want to stay in the denial phase. And it's normal because sometimes it's so stressful at the rock bottom that you do feel that you need a break to not think about anything. It's just so difficult. Sure, that's natural. But as long as that denial phase doesn't go on indefinitely. When I think about rock bottom, I also remember a poem by Rumi in which he said that many demolitions are actually renovations. And I strongly believe in that. When we feel demolished, it's an opportunity to renovate our lives. I covered this topic already in a video, and I will link it up in the description section. And I encourage you to watch this video if you haven't before. When we find ourselves in the rock bottom phase of life, I also think about that clogged toilet that I was mentioning in the last video. You have a choice to stay in the shit show or call the plumber to help you to fix the problem. That's how it is at the rock bottom. You have a choice to stay there dealing with all the garbage and all the mess, all the pain, or you can get professional help to help you move forward. Now, I know that in a lot of videos, I encourage you to work with a therapist if you have a lot of problems, but I want to remind you also that it's not just about therapy. It's also about finding your tribe, finding a community that will help you to deal with all of the things that you're going through as a result of this very, very challenging trauma. So remember that as difficult as it is, the rock bottom really rocks because it's an opportunity for you to reassess your life, to figure out the next steps, and to move forward. Thank you for tuning in this week. I send you love, light, and blessings.
Hi, my name is Rosalinda Martinez. I'm a retreat leader at Empowerment Light. If you'd like to get connected with more tools and resources to help you on your journey, please see my website in the description section. As always, like and subscribe if you like this video. Look forward to a new video every Tuesday.